So here's the Bowden Tube Clamp in Tinkercad here. Just let this load in. As you see, there's been quite a few modifications to this. Really, it's only this part here, this green part. So it has a couple of slots in there so it can be squeezed. You can see the ridges on the inside here, so that when it is squeezed, it'll grip the tube. Basically, the tube hopefully should pass all the way through. Just put the size on here. So notice that that is 11 millimeters diameter. I found 11 millimeters is a good size to use with a 12 millimeter sort of nut. That only gives 0.5 millimeters each side in a way. This was originally split into quarters, but I had problems with the strength for quarters, so I've changed it to split in halves. The height is 23 odd millimeters. That's a look round. These, I'm keeping these here for if I need to do any modifications in the future. I will say that these sort of ridges here aren't all the same size. The ones at the top are a little bit deeper and go a little bit shallower, because as you come down hit to the bottom of this groove, the plastic can't bend so much, so and it can't squeeze in quite so much, I don't think. So the idea here is put a tube in there. That'll open up these tabs a little bit. But when you put a nut on, it'll tighten up these tabs and squeeze onto the tube and allow it to grip. This is for a 12 millimeter 0.175 pitch hole, basically. And basically, I'm doing this mainly, well, to a certain extent, mainly for this model here. You can see that this is like a feeding. This is the body of the feeding belt drive system. That's got the 12 millimeter sort of threaded holes in there, ready to take them. One feeding in from, say, a box where you can help keep the filament dry. One feeding out to the actual nozzle. So Bowden feeding system. Okay. So here's the settings. I'm going to ask for 100% here. I want it to be quite strong. It's quite normal for me, 1.6 layer. So it's like 65 on a heat bed. I think I could knock that down. I'm going to keep it at that for now. Advanced retractions. Retractions turned on. No fan on for an ABS print. Reload the model. Don't know if there's any of this enabled retraction say. So it's saying 20 minutes there. Gura does not include the like heat up of the bed, etc. I've already saved this, but I'm going to overwrite that old file with this new file. So saving that to my SD card now. I'll just show you the start and end. That's the start code. This is the end code. I ask it to play some the pink pamphlet tune when it's finished there. Move the nozzle, etc, etc. Here I ask it to sort of move the nozzle so I can clean off the nozzle if I need to. I don't have any plugins set advanced. No cooling fan, as I say. Okay, let's get on to printing it. I do ask for skirts on this. 235 on the nozzle. I've knocked down the temperature from 245. I think that was a bit high, I don't know. 65 on the heat bed here. I do put this on the heat bed. This works wonders, stops curling. Elmer's glue stick, well recommended. Put it on cold, let the purple colour vanish, and go to print basically. Now I can usually print a few times with this on, I think 3 or 4 times before I want to replace it. But also I've noticed that if I don't print on the bed, I haven't done a definitive test by the way, if I don't print on the bed say for a couple of days, then I have to clean off the old stuff and reapply this. It's only if it's actually in use, it seems like, that I can repeatedly print onto the bed. This is quite a quick print, approximately half an hour, if I include the warming up of the bed, etc. I might look a bit distorted this print, but it does have threads on. Those threads are for 12mm by 1.75 pitch hole basically. The outside diameter of this threading is actually 11mm, but that leaves a good tolerance of, well, 0.5 mm each side if you like. There's a hole right through the centre for the Bowden tube to pass through, 4mm Bowden tube. So you can see the reflection there in the silica glass I have on this heat bed. Okay, I'm going to pause the print. I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. I think it's a half-hour print, give or take a bit. Well, it's 25 minutes into this print. I estimate about another 10 minutes or so it'll be finished quite soon. You see the threads there. You can't really see the cutouts at the sides there. Well, not from this angle. The display says that took 27 minutes. Might as well say half an hour, 30 minutes I suppose. Beds had time to cool from there. Bit of a whack. Well, it's not all that hard really with this. It's just a paint scraper, wallpaper scraper or something. Edges file down to be round so they don't dig in the bed. A little bit of sharpening on the blade, but not sharp enough to cut. As you see there, just popped off as good as. Let's see if this nut, this is a 12mm nut. See if this fits on. Yep. Let's see if it will go. Gets a little bit tight there. I'm trying not to squeeze these when I hold this, because I did have to pull them when I did it in quarters, that would breaking off. A little bit tight, and this is, well, asked for 11 millimeters here on this thread. Seems to get a little bit tight in the bottom end, but that's okay. Yeah, it does go. So there's a hole in there for a 4 millimeter Bowden tube. Let's get a tube. So put the nut on there. Now I do probably plan to also print a nut actually. And as I push this in, that's what I wanted to splay these a bit to open them up slightly. Well, there you are. You can see now I've drilled this out 4.5 millimeter. It's a 4 millimeter tube, but 4.5 gives a bit of tolerance there that the tube can push right down to the edge here. And putting that down so that just like about a millimeter or two is out the top. And I'm pulling on this. Let's pull on the nut so I'm not actually squeezing on the plastic. That is in there very, very tight. That's going to be tight enough to hold. So that's a good model. I think I might just, in the actual design, change the diameter at the bottom here, because I did have to drill it out with a 4.5 millimeter twist bit to get the tube to come right down to the tip. But that's a good model, I think. Now I need to print out the main body of my quick release feeding thing, which will have this thread in it. Two of these, one for feeding in and one for feeding out. So it's 12 millimeters by 175 pitch, that thread there. Well, that's what it's for. This is 11 millimeters diameter. So if this is going out of focus. Okay, let's see if it's possible now. That's on there really tight, to actually get this tube out if the nut is undone. I expect it to be still quite hard to pull out actually. So take the nut off. Let's push forward a little bit. It is, oh it does, but it's quite hard to do that. Does it leave any marking on the Bowden tube? Maybe a bit. Some of these markers might have been on here earlier, sorry. Push it in, put my finger there so that the end does come there. That's so that if you have flexible filament it doesn't curl up, so to speak. It's entrapped in the tube and then it'll go into a hole in the feeding mechanism. Give this a final try since I've pulled it off, same piece of tube. Oh, and I am really pulling on that. My fingers are slipping because this tube is slippy. Now that did move a bit there, but I had to pull really, really hard to do that. That'll be good print.